Lead generation to some people is the most important thing they do in order to generate revenue, grow their business. Content development is another thing that's important because in order for us to really get those leads, we have to have content that people will be interested in. Hi, I'm Ralph Henderson. I'm the producer and MC of the Global Supply Chain Marketing Summit, brought to you by Supply Chain Brain and partnered with Manifest and CSCMP. We will be coming to you this June, June 5 through 7, at the Ritz-Carlton on Amelia Island. We're going to be talking about lead gen and content development, and we are thrilled to let you know that we have Melissa Taylor coming to give us a workshop, a keynote presentation, and then after the show's over, between that show and the show in 25, we're going to do a webinar on all of this. So if you want to learn about lead gen, you want to learn about content development, you want to be at the Global Supply Chain Marketing Summit. And with that, welcome, Melissa.
Well, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So tell me, what is the juxtaposition between lead gen, content development, and if I'm a marketing professional in the supply chain space going into 2024, how do I approach those things?
Yeah, well, you can't talk about one without talking about the other. They really go hand in hand. Whether you concentrate on lead generation and that's backed up by the content that you have, or your content produces lead generation, it's the cyclical process where both pieces have to be a part of the conversation. So I think, when we're there in June, one of the primary things we're going to talk about obviously is content and how you can create such interesting content that people go, yes, I want to talk to you more, which then that becomes a lead. And then
So
how you turn that into a business.
right. No, that's fantastic. So help me, as consumers, we're very aware of this, right? We want to be really familiar with the companies and the products, or at least we think we are,
Yep.
that we purchase, whether
Yes.
it be apparel or high tech. I mean, it's just one of those things where we really want to feel like we're familiar and we know these people. So help me help the supply chain marketing people kind of make that connection with what they're doing.
Yeah. So when you talk about supply chain, these are big numbers, right? These are big contracts that are going to happen. I don't know anybody who spends that kind of money on someone they don't know, on
Right.
a company that they don't know, on a company that they don't trust, that they don't know
Right.
is going to be around next year, right? So that's where content comes into play. If you can show, number one, if you've been doing it well, then you have this history of being a thought leader in the industry, this history of providing good service, this history of people working with you. So when I hear about you and I see all this history, I'm like, ooh, they're going to be around. They deserve my trust. They deserve my business.
Good
Whereas
point.
if, yeah, whereas if there's nothing there, then how do I know who I'm doing business with? It could be a fly by night scam. It could be anything, right? It could be somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing. It could be somebody who's not a leader in the industry. So you want to
Right.
make sure that you put that foot forward.
And you know what, Melissa, what amazes me is, people will watch these shows where you have companies that do a really good job with the marketing and lead gen, but they have nothing underneath the hood,
Hmm.
and there's no significance. And yet with supply chain, we have great companies, great people, great
Yeah.
products, great services, and yet we tend to not do as much on this content development side. So I liked what you did with the reverse engineering, right? In order for somebody to buy my stuff, they have to trust me. In order for them to trust me, they have to feel like I know my stuff. In order for them to feel like that, I have to have produced something that convinced them of that. So as
Exactly.
far as what the folks are going to see and hear in June, you're doing a keynote, you're doing a workshop. Tell us a little bit about what that's going to look like and feel like.
Yeah. So there's a code to doing content, CODE, and we're going to go over what that code is. So we're going to
Perfect.
make it easier for people to create content. We're going to make sure they hit all the different buckets that they have to have content on, because it's not just what you do. It's not just what you supply, right? It's not just your customer service. There's a whole plethora of things that you can write content on that really don't have a lot to do with what you actually sell. So we're going to talk about the code of content and how you can produce all that varying different things to make it easy for you, and make it easy for your marketing team. So you're not scraping the bottom of the barrel and trying to figure out what can we write on today, just making it a lot easier for everybody.
Yeah, and everybody has the right heart, right? They want to do the right thing. I'm not convinced that that they have the resources. And so what we're trying to do with the Global Supply Chain Marketing Summit is to give them the resources. So this isn't just a one and done in June. We're going to meet in June, but then we're going to meet throughout the year. We're going to have webinars. We're going to have online training. We're going to get together as a cohort. We want to create a family of supply chain marketing people who are the best at what they do. So in the last few minutes that we have here, give them what 2024 could look like as far as how maybe they could start to become more familiar through content development and then make lead generation more effective.
Yeah, gosh, big question. Yeah, I think in 2024, if they really go back kind of grassroots content development in their marketing strategy and think about it from a different perspective, from the perspective of people that not only need to know what they can provide and how they can help them with their company and their supply chain, but also who they are and what they stand for. 2024 can look a lot different than 2023. It can set them up for prosperity in 2025 from probably beyond their dreams, beyond their thought process, really is what it does. Because what happens is when you do this kind of content marketing, that's what we call it as content marketing, leads come in without having to think about lead generation. And so
Right.
and as long as they now let me little caveat,
Yeah, I was
as long
going to
as they
say,
have
yeah.
a good prospecting system from when the lead
Right.
comes in,
Right.
then they can just certainly capitalize on those leads coming in.
Yeah, no, everybody loves inbound. So thank you so much. And we're really looking forward to what you're doing. So remember, if you want more information to see Melissa, what she's going to be talking about, or everything regarding the Global Supply Chain Marketing Summit, just go to globalsupplychainmarketingsummit.com and we will see you at the beach.